you know, people come into our clinic with the best intentions. They love their birds, they want to do the best, they're spending a lot of money at the vet. But it amazes me as an avian vet how often they neglect the cage and the cage setup and the cage layout. And people are just unaware how much it will improve the quality of their life. It's like that, we call it cage furniture. It's the things that you would set up in your house, in your home. So this is a cage where I've told our owner that I don't like anything in the cage. Like all the perches are inappropriate. The perches, the toys, etc. When you have a little swing with a tiny little Dowel perch in it, the owners think the bird likes the swing because it sleeps on it every night. But they don't realize the only reason it's sleeping on that is they feel secure on the highest place. And it's incredibly uncomfortable. A budgie, any of you have got a budgie, you've watched it, when a budgie goes to sleep, it lifts its little tummy, it puts its tummy down on the perch. And if you've got a nice broad perch like this, it actually is very comfortable. And because our well cared for birds live to incredible ages, as they get older, the perch gets bigger, and eventually it's a platform. This is another perch we sell. We're suggesting to put in the cage long way. So be aware the budgie would like to sleep on the highest thing in the cage because they feel secure. And this is a brilliant perch. It's a natural branch. It's quite a big diameter. We take a cage like this and we put it in long ways. And another thing would be that if this consult room that you're seeing, if this was your bedroom, you wouldn't be hanging a picture down the middle, putting a couch across here. You know, people are putting it in just because it fits like that. They're not really looking at the interior design. I need each of you guys watching this who has a pet, be an interior designer. Design the cage that your bird can be comfortable in and happy in. It doesn't make sense to you know, when you've got a cage like this, people don't realize the perches should be set out widthwise. In other words, so the bird can fly between without having clutter everywhere. So a cage like this we'd like a perch like this and a perch like this, and the bird can fly between the two. And then we add toys on the side, and there's an incredible array of toys. There's so much more we can give, and a last thing that's incredibly important when you're setting up a cage. So first, natural branch perches, don't clutter the cage, especially this is for a budgie that likes to fly. It's an overweight budgie, it needs to fly between sides of the cage, and it needs to be stimulated. Another thing that's incredibly important is to have a little corner. In other words, a cozy corner. So the highest perch gets a little corner, so the bird doesn't have to be, let's say, hyper-vigilant. I'm using a big word, hyper-vigilant, over-vigilant. So all day the bird's watching for predators from here on the side. In the wild, they're going to eat their food and go into a tree. So by having a corner, that we call it a cozy corner, by having a little corner on the highest perch, the bird can feel secure and not worry about predators all the time. This is a cage that was set up for a 12-year-old budgie. So it's a geriatric bird. Can hop around. You can see they're massive perches, so it can get around easily. But these are just so natural branch perches spread around. If the bird can't fly, we change things a little bit. But be aware the Dowel perches that come with a cage are not appropriate. Even if you buy it with the perch, even if it comes from a pet shop, even if it comes from a bird shop, Dowel perches. And take a look at this kind of perch. Really, I mean, it's incredibly thin. The highest perch they've got in the cage is like pencil thin. So the bird's going to spend all night gripping tight just so it doesn't fall off. How uncomfortable is that? And people are not doing it knowingly. So it's a warning or a friendly reminder that we're responsible for our pets. We're responsible for their well-being. And I'd love this video to be shared. And I'd love people to make their birds as comfy as possible because it's so easy. You don't have to buy these perches from us. We sell tons of them. They're light and easy. Go to your local park. Remember that in Australia, native trees, eucalyptus, wattle, acacia, natural trees are generally safe, and fruit trees are generally safe. Get your own. But Bunnings get a little stainless steel wash at the end to make the perches.
Cherry's toxic.
Cherry's toxic. Except for cherries. So just be aware, and oleander must be a really bad one, but be aware that it's so easy to make the cage nice and give it. And the bird will love this. It'll pick off all the branch, it'll enjoy playing with it, and just replace it. Mel, would you like to add something?
Well, the other thing I'd probably add is that the angle of the perches should be considered too, particularly for young birds. They don't necessarily need a horizontal perch all the time. You can have diagonal or different angles, like think tree, and they don't have to be firmly secured. So if they bounce a bit in a play area, that's fun for them. So that's something I would remember too when designing my cage. You want them to have nice, safe, secure spots, but you also want them to have some play area.
You want them to have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember, this is the absolute basics, like Perch 101, but you can go way high. You can have, obviously what Mel's saying is like so obvious, but I've got to start off on the basics because I feel like beggars can't be choosers. We might have a YouTube later where we can actually take the cage to the next level. Besides just some basic perches, the bird could be happy with 1 or 2 toys that are appropriate. We can take it to the next level.